Hey, so I'm Cassandra, and I am a growth advisor, and I work with businesses who are socially conscious and want to make a big impact in the world while being able to be really excellent at it and make a difference in their own lives as well by reducing how much they're having to work and how much they are. Having to pour themselves into it, right? So I want to help people who are wanting to create ethical profitability and impact in a world caliber way without having to sacrifice excellence or themselves along the way. So that's who I am and that's what I do. And I am coming live today to talk to you about this quiet quitting that has suddenly popped up as a headline, right? This idea that people are quietly quitting their jobs, which means that they aren't actually quitting, but they are coming to work and they are doing only what is asked of them, and really just kind of going through the motions, depending on the context of the situation. But really, at the core of this, it is, I think, just a revolution that is bubbling up as a second wave of the Great Resignation, right? So the Great Resignation happened, or is happening, as people are expecting a different type of work environment, a different type of workplace. I think that going through the pandemic, as we all know, opened our eyes to the fact that a lot of the ideas about how business needed to be done, the beliefs that we carried about how work needed to be done, how teamwork needed to be carried out, just simply wasn't true. And that a lot of marginalized people were at the brunt of absorbing a lot of the fallacies of that, right? And so what I think is beautiful on a philosophical level and on like my heartstring level is that like people are tired of it and they want something else, right? And they're demanding something else. And what I think is beautiful about being an elder millennial is that I get to kind of straddle this world. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I believe that millennials are the unlearning generation. We were handed down a lot of toxic ideas about the way that the world works and how it should work and how we should function in it. And we've had to spend our adult lives unlearning those things and learning healthier beliefs, habits, behaviors. And I think we're reaping some of the benefits of that as we are seeing these next generations come up. Now, what I love about being a millennial, an elder millennial at that, is that I get the best of both worlds, right? I have this fierce idea about standing up for what's right, standing up for ourselves, radical self care. But I also believe still in this radical responsibility. And I believe that the healthiest version of the world is when those two things are equally yoked, where we are taking radical care of self and others. It is not one or the other. I feel like there is this tug of war that's constantly happening rather than acknowledging that it has to be a duality and that we are constantly working towards a balance and an even yoking, if you will, since I've already said it before, of radical care and radical responsibility. But I'm 4 minutes in and I haven't said anything about the five things yet that I think that, I know to be true about businesses and how people first companies are avoiding this issue of quiet quitting, and it's what's differentiating those types of businesses and others. And so I want to talk through a few of those things. I think one of the things that I have prided myself in is always being a people focused business, a people first business. So what that looks like is I am always going to hire to invest in people. and the whole person in front of me. I want to care about that whole person and what their dreams, their aspirations, their plans, their life goals, all of that. And so even in the hiring process, in interview process, I'm asking those questions and really trying to frame it in a way that people understand that I'm asking those questions because I deeply care about them, not because I'm trying to test their loyalty or their ability or interest in staying loyal to my company. What I want is to find the people who are good culture fits, right? That is what we really should be focusing on when we're hiring, is who is a good culture fit for what I'm doing, what I'm trying to create, and the work environment that I like to have, what I want to cultivate, right? But first and foremost, recognizing that when you have the privilege of being a business owner or business leader, a CEO, a hiring manager, someone who gets to decide whether or not someone has a job, you also have the responsibility of caring for that whole person in front of you and really deeply getting to know who they are and what they need and what they want out of life, not just how can they serve your business. So I think that people first businesses, first and foremost, understand how important it is to invest in people, and not in just some buzzword kind of way, but understand that we are in service, not just to our clients, not just to our customers, but to our team. And we need to be attracting team the same ways that we are attracting clients. What is it that we are doing that's bringing value to the world for our clients? What are we doing that's bringing value to the world for our team? And how are they able to contribute to that? And that's the second point that I want to make. One of the ways that I think that people first businesses are going to be a bit more immune from this quiet quitting buzz topic that has come up is because people first businesses understand that people need to feel valued and that they are contributing. So that's really points 2 and 3, right? Making sure that they feel valued. And the way that we're doing that is, first of all, this quiet quitting, a lot of this is rooted in not stealing people's labor. Stop stealing people's labor. Stop expecting people to do more than what their job entails without compensating them for it. Okay? Like, that's just that simple. I think that, of course, there can be times that we are collaborating and we are creating something as a team, trying to accomplish something as a team, that people are going to be asked to go above and beyond, who are willing to go above and beyond without being asked, because they are contributing and adding value to what's happening. But recognizing when that is just the expected behavior all the time, you're stealing labor. If you are not compensating people for work that they are doing, you are stealing. So one way to make sure that people feel valued is that they are being compensated for everything that they're doing. And not just monetarily, though that is deeply important. It's also about being acknowledged for that labor and appreciated. And I get so frustrated when I hear people complaining about, well, they're just doing their jobs. Why should I praise them for that? Think about all of the times in your life when you were just doing the thing that was expected of you and how good it felt to be acknowledged for doing that. That's one of the ways that good management can cause damage to a good team, is not giving enough attention and focus to those who are doing the best job. We have all been guilty of it. I have been guilty of it. I have these fires over here, these problems I'm dealing with, whether it's clients or projects or team members who are just not living up to expectations. And the best people get neglected. And then they feel underappreciated, undervalued, and unseen. And that is another reason why people quietly quit. They go, well, doesn't matter whether what I do or not, it doesn't get noticed. So not only should we be making sure that we are investing in people by deeply caring about them as a whole person, what they have going on in their whole world, not just how they're contributing to the company, but also making sure that we are compensating them financially and demonstrating the value that they are bringing to the team for doing their job. You wouldn't have them there doing their job if you didn't need that job to be done. Okay. So that is why I don't know why I'm saying I'm just like on fire right now. And I know I'm like lecturing at a unknown company right now who is maybe guilty of some of these things, but like recognizing that if people don't feel like they're a part of something, if people don't feel like they are their unique gifts, talents, labor, energy is making a difference to the job, and that difference is not being valued, then they are going to stop. They are going to stop trying. They are going to stop investing. They are going to stop putting effort in. And so, to avoid that, making sure that you are recognizing and showing specific appreciation for that. And then also, piggybacking that, the fourth thing is making sure that the work that's being done is being clear, like the big picture, the strategy, the plan, right, is being clearly communicated and clearly organized and actually planned, right? So that people can understand how their contributions are fitting into the big picture. So often, hold on, I need water. So often we hear that business owners, business leaders, CEOs, other people in the C-suite need time to go work on the business. And those of us who have been solopreneurs or small business owners also understand how difficult it is sometimes as the leader, as the owner, to pull ourselves out of working in the business, operating it, being the one delivering the services, delivering the product, right? And create that special sacred time that we need to think, to plan, to organize, to be innovative. And so we hear this message all the time that the leaders need that time to think, need that time to plan, to strategize. And that's absolutely true. But when just the leader does that and just the leader gets that time, or the leaders, the C-suite, whatever, and the rest of the organization isn't brought along on that journey in a really purposeful way, then every decisions are being made in a silo and people don't know how their work is contributing. And so they feel like a cog in a wheel, right? And so when you feel like a cog in a wheel, again, you start to feel like you don't matter. So recognizing that not only does that space to work on the business, to think about the company, to do that long-term vision planning, strategy, organization, really need to happen at every stage of business, even as a solopreneur, even as a team of 2 or 3, even as a team that is made up of contractors who are there supporting your business. It needs to have that kind of structure and process built so that people understand how the puzzle is fitting together and what their work is doing. When people understand the bigger picture and how what they're doing is contributing to that, they're going to stay more invested in their work. If they don't understand how their work is contributing and they're not invested in a mission or a vision of what the work is being done, then that's another reason that people are going to quietly quit. And then let me look at my notes. I wrote some things down because I was on fire before I came on here and I didn't want to forget what I wanted to share. I think we talked about investing in people, seeing the whole person, not stealing labor. And I think that like part of that is having the systems, there we go, the systems and structures in place to support them too, right? So again, I work with people in many different stages of business. Sometimes I'm working with businesses who have been in business for decades, who have dozens of team members, who are making multiple 7 figures in revenue. And I get into the back end of their business and they still don't have structures and systems and processes in place. which means that the team is often floundering or not sure what to do or is inefficient. Time, energy, effort is being wasted and people burn out. So that's the last point I want to make, is so often even really well-intended, heart-centered, mission-driven, people-first business owners get themselves into trouble, and leaders, not just owners, because they don't have the systems and processes in place to support effective, efficient work. So they use people to plug those gaps and those holes. And then what happens is people burn out more quickly because the pressure of catching all those balls, not always being able to work as effectively and as efficiently as you can because you don't have the roadmap, the infrastructure in place to work effectively and efficiently. It's just a lot more emotional and mental labor and takes up more time. And so understanding that it's okay to hire people when you don't have all of those things perfectly in place, but you need to hire with that in mind then. Do not hire people who are not used to coming in and helping build something from a grassroots level, and expect them to know how to do it and be eager to do it. Like, that's not fair. That's stealing labor again. That's setting people up for unfair expectations. This especially happens, part of what I do is help build sales system structures, train people in sales. Sometimes that means the leaders themselves in sales. Sometimes that means building sales teams for them. Sometimes that means training non-sales people in businesses to become salespeople. Sometimes that means bringing in experienced salespeople and training them in people's businesses. There's a lot of different ways that I've done it. But because so much of what I do is rooted in the sales systems and the sales process and the sales team with people, what I often see too is people getting, unfortunately, bad advice, bad information from colleagues, from friends, from looking around them and trying to figure it out, from looking from the outside into people's businesses. I don't know where they get these ideas, but they think, I know what I need to do. I just need to hire a salesperson. I need my business to grow. I need more bandwidth for myself, for my time, my energy, or I don't like doing sales, or I like it, but I just need to free up my time to do other things. And so they bring on a salesperson or sales team too quickly, and they don't have sales systems and processes in place. Or they hire a salesperson and not realizing that salespeople, just like any other department, there are different specialties and different skills that people have and are expecting when they are coming into a certain role. And a lot of times these businesses that don't have systems and processes built out, or they do, but they have never had a salesperson in that role, they've only had the owner in that role, don't realize that they are expecting too much from a salesperson, and they're used to a society that does commission only for sales. Commission only for sales should only be for closers. If you are expecting someone to come in and do strategic planning for your sales process or your sales system, to be generating leads, to be, which is really marketing, not sales, doing appointment setting, doing outbound reach out, unless they know that they've been hired as an outbound salesperson, which is a different thing. Do not make that job commission only. You're stealing labor. And this promise, this carrot of all we have to do is get these people in, and then you're going to be making so much money, is unfair, often untrue, and then is taking advantage and being predatory to their labor. Because even if they are able to do exactly what you wanted them to do, which is come in and build this all out, attract the leads, close the leads, bring money into your business, they did so much more for you than just be a salesperson. So recognizing that we often will hire for one job, but expect that person to do 15 jobs. And I'm just using sales as an example because I see it so much and because I think it's such an egregious area in so many businesses where they think it's okay to hire commission only somebody working for $0 until they make that sale. And just how often salespeople get taken advantage of because of that. And I understand that people don't want to be dumping money into a salesperson who's not closing. I get it. I get it. But as a business owner, as a business leader, there's risk involved in hiring any role in any position. And I recognize that you can see the direct ROI tied to sales position, right? But it doesn't mean that everything under the umbrella of sales department or marketing and sales should be treated as one big job and not compensated properly for the labor that's being done in the job. Yes, salespeople sometimes love the challenge of the competitive nature of being commission, being able to earn commission, being able to have the opportunity to have a capless salary. Yes, that is what attracts people into that sometimes, especially when they're very good at it. But that doesn't mean that you get to steal their labor to do other things other than closing. And I'm sorry I got on that soapbox, but I have a dear friend who recently found herself in a situation like that where too much was being expected of her for a job that was commission only. And unfortunately, she's just one of many, many, many people that I've seen experience that. So when you are shaping jobs and bringing people in, even if it's to a new position, even if it's into a role that doesn't necessarily have all the systems and processes built out because you're growing, that's fantastic. Be upfront and transparent with people that it is a growing job, it is a dynamic position, and compensate accordingly for that. Recognize that that is a bigger ask for someone to come in and be at the ground level of something than it is to come into something that is a well-oiled machine and they are plugged in and have a very specific narrow job to do in a system and a structure that's already been proven out and working. Understand where you are in business, what you are hiring for, and what is really being asked of that person as you are looking to grow and develop your team. So, phew. I don't know why I got on such a long sales tangent, but I think it's all valuable information. So, again, recap, invest in people. First and foremost, if you invest in people, they're going to be less likely to quietly quit. And when I say invest in people, I mean your time, your energy, your effort, your money. When we have the privilege of being a leader in a business, we also have the responsibility of investing in our people. When you invest in people and go above and beyond for them, they are more likely, not always, but they are more likely to be invested in you, your business, and going above and beyond for their work when the time comes. If you can do that, hire for company culture fit. Make sure that you're consistently in a regular cadence, a frequent cadence, recognizing people's work, demonstrating their value to that work, hearing feedback. I didn't even get into feedback. I'll do a whole other live about that and about why effective feedback needs to be a part of your business practices. But showing genuine appreciation and creating space for everyone to come together and work on the business and understand the direction of the business is going to keep people plugged in and genuinely doing the work and not just quietly quitting. So that's my soapbox for today. Thank you for my soapbox Saturday. Maybe I'll make that a thing. Who knows? But sure was a thing today. So if you made it to the end of my live, thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me get on my soapbox this Saturday. And if this is a topic that interests you, affects you, I would love to hear more about it. The comments are open. Let me know about how quiet quitting has affected you. I see that Dina earlier said I left my school of 10 years because no one cares about us as humans. No one supported me. No one valued me. Yes, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I'm sorry I didn't see that comment sooner, Dina. But yes, exactly. And yeah, Randy just shared great information. I'm in a half salaried and half commission based sales job. It's nice and I love it. I just left a teaching job and the things that you said totally make sense. Oh, I'm so glad, Randy. Yes, yes. Teachers are another category. And I know that Dina, I know Dina from the teaching world. And so uh, I understand that teachers are another space that are deeply undervalued, deeply underpaid and appreciated, and that is why we are losing teachers in mass. So I'm sorry that both Dina and Randy have experienced that, but I'm so glad to hear that you have a half salaried, half commission based job, Randy. And thank you for sharing. But those who might be catching this as a replay, go ahead and put replay in the comments and share with me what your thoughts are on this topic of quiet quitting and how people, first businesses and companies can help keep that from happening. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, friends.